What's up, guys? Thanks for checking out this episode of Protein with Tim. In the time it takes you to devour a protein shake, I hope to insert a nugget of wisdom into your cranium so you can digest on it and give it a bunch of thought. In today's episode, I'm talking about what's missing in your life. Pretty deep topic, but I wanted to start this one out with a story. So I was in Bali, Indonesia a couple of weeks ago for my 31st birthday. This was the first time we were able to travel since the pandemic. Fuck yeah, it was pretty sweet. My amazing fiance organized a birthday tour for us. We went cycling around the rice paddies in Ubud. Ubud is like a place where it's, north of Denpasar, kind of where you land in Bali. And it's like a mountainous kind of region. So we had a tour guide and there were 6 people on the tour. I had plenty of opportunity to chat with him and everyone on the tour. A couple of the people were from Melbourne, then obviously the tour guide was local. And I was pretty curious about how the last couple of years had been for him. And I'm quite an inquisitive person. I ask a lot of questions. So I asked him what he was up to for the last 2 years. He began telling me a story about how he was spending every day in the jungles of Ubud hunting for bees so that he could harvest the honey and go back to Denpasar and sell it so he could make enough money that he could pay for his food. I then asked him how successful he was on this endeavor of finding bees, harvesting honey, and he said not very. He'd spend a lot of time and weeks at a time sleeping on the jungle floor on his own or with a friend hunting for bees. As you can imagine, me just stepping off a multi-million-dollar plane, getting straight to Bali, staying in a 5-star resort, I was pretty taken back at the situation. I was also taken back at how happy he was, how nonchalant he was about the entire situation, and how not bothered he was by anything that had really happened. We stopped a few times on the tour and he was picking up snails. And I thought, this is really weird. This dude is picking up snails, chucking them in his pocket, collecting them. We stopped at lunch and then I had the opportunity to ask him what he was doing with the snails. He said he would make a snail stew for dinner because he got so used to eating snails during the pandemic because he had no food or money. Immediately, I was starting to think about my own life in comparison. I was on my 31st birthday confronted with the reality that there's nothing missing in my life and there's nothing missing in yours in comparison to how hard this guy had it. I wanted to start out this episode because I want you to reflect on it, and I want you to reflect on it in your own life. I have the pleasure of coaching a lot of people. I have a lot of conversations, and people tend to point out the bad stuff that's going on in their life, when in reality, it's probably not that bad. In reality, there's a high likelihood that there's nothing missing from your life, only the desire to have more, which is very common in the Western world because it's planted by smart marketing companies and tactics of huge corporations around the world that we're so wrapped up in commercialism, consumerism, and the overwhelming feeling that you don't have enough and that you're never, ever going to have enough. I'm telling you right now, you do have enough. Happiness, or the ability to find happiness, is an inside job. All you ever need for that journey or quest is within you right now. You're always wanting what's next, the next purchase, or I'll be happy when I reach X. The likelihood of you ever getting there is slim to none because the goalposts always moved. If a man survived 2.5 years eating snail stew, happy as a pig in shit, what do we really have to complain about? Thanks for listening to this episode of Protein with Tim.